We now need to do a single best chart in the framework of this, excuse me, with Chairman Powell at 10 a.m., the news out of China, this huge media merger and other mergers as well, is your gloom on the market. For Brian Levitt, and particularly for the optimist, David Sowerby, we need to go back to the Depression and get depressed. Single best chart, the Dow back to the 1910s. David Sowerby, everybody knows this chart. It's based off Ibbitson's classic CFA and Yale University chart. Up, and away, but we're a little bit off trend. What do you do with that?
It's still an environment where the next 3 years, 10 years, stocks return between 5 and 6% compounded. And where you tilt, I'm an active investor. I'll always beware of portfolio managers saying it's a stock picker's market. Worst overused term. But in an environment where active management wins, lean to small cap, lean to free cash flow yield,
right,
you have the chance to be better than 6%.
Brian, when we studied this with the CFA, Ibbitson was God, and you had an allocation to emerging markets. OppenheimerFunds owns emerging markets. The old formula doesn't work anymore, does it?
Well, I think what we need to realize is that these markets are going to trend higher. There is very little reason to think that this cycle is ending. The emerging economies are better positioned. The outperformance has been very, if you think about long-term cycles, there's only been a short period of outperformance. That's unlikely to end with a synchronized global expansion and policy accommodative in most parts of the world and inflation not up significantly in most parts of the world. So investors may have to deal with some volatility around uncertainty of monetary policy, but ultimately this cycle is going to continue. Investors should consider diversifying outside the United States. We have not seen investors do that in a meaningful way. Those are likely to be the outperformers. But most importantly, investors should stick to their plan and be invested in these equity markets in this long secular bull.